I'm here with Jed Carey, Managing Director of Idea Media Makers, web design gurus, marketing tacticians and digital media experts. Is that an apt description, Jed?
I'll take that. That sounds great.
Jed, we're here today to talk about something that I find particularly confusing, and that's the whole online marketing sphere, if you will. I find it confusing. There's so much information around everything you pick up and read. It tells me I should be having a great website, I should have Facebook, I should engage with this, I should use Google Ads, all sorts of stuff, and it's confusing for the small business owner. So today I just wanted to talk briefly about what you consider to be some of the real online success tools.
Yeah, sure. Look, I think it's a really great question, and I think that a lot of business owners are really trying to define what's the most successful way of getting the best return on my investment. And I think that really has to be the crux of every decision you make with marketing, whether it's offline or online, is what is the return on investment I'm getting with my spend of my marketing. I would say that clearly having a website is a really important part of your online mix. I mean, if you're not online, you're out of date. And if you have a website, your question is probably going to be more oriented around, well, how do I actually get people to my website?
Yeah, well, I've got one, so what do I do with it now? It looks really pretty, but is it bringing me business? I'm not sure.
Exactly, yeah. And look, we see this issue quite a lot. So people will spend a lot of money on their website and it looks very pretty and it's great and it's aesthetically appealing, but then they go, well, where's all the visitors? And you know what? There's actually more websites online now than there is actually people on the earth. So if you don't market your website, there's just no way you're going to find people. People are going to find you, sorry. So if I had to rule it down to sort of some core areas, I think that clearly Google is a really powerful tool. These days, the whole trend is when people are searching for services and products, that they're going online and they're searching for those tools. The greatest thing about Google is that you're getting customers who are literally searching for the products that you're offering, and you can tailor their experience, and that your listings and your ads within Google only display for the services that you offer, and you're not getting a whole bunch of people that are looking for things that you don't offer. So with Google, obviously, again, it comes down to your return on investment. So if you already have a website, the number one thing that I would be doing is being able to track the data about how users are actually interacting with your website. And the way that you do that is by a free tool provided by Google called Google Analytics. If you don't know whether you have that or not, talk to your web developer and ask them, hey, do I have Google Analytics? And if they say no, get them to install it. And what that does is that whether you're marketing or not, you can actually see all of the data about your users and how those users are actually interacting with their website, where your website's going wrong, and where people are falling off the traction, falling off your website and not actually making an inquiry.
What you're telling me is, I think, is that with digital advertising or marketing, let's use that term, using something like Google Analytics, it's much easier to determine who's looking at your marketing material as opposed to other media like TV, radio, or for that matter, even print media. Sure,
absolutely. Yeah, and that's exactly the point, is that if you have the data to actually show where your marketing spend is going and what results it's actually achieving, you can make better decisions about your marketing dollar. I always come back to the thought of all marketing has to be accountable. And if you've got a spend on a marketing item, whatever medium it is, and you're not sure about the return you're getting on that marketing spend, then how are you sure that it's actually working or not working at all? To me, it makes the most amount of sense is that when you're highlighting where should I spend my marketing dollar, go with something that's as accountable as possible, because then you can actually measure and see whether that marketing medium works or not. And you know what? Even if you invest in a month worth of advertising in a certain medium and you've got the data to show it doesn't work, then at least you know it doesn't work, and then you can go spend that money on something that does work.
Yeah. So I've got the nice new website.
Mm-hmm.
And I've checked with my web developer and we've got Google Analytics.
Okay.
Tell me, what else should I be doing to ensure my online success?
So obviously, your Google Analytics now allows you to track your information. So I think the first thing that really nearly any business can't go wrong with is actually now starting to get your business listed under the services that you offer within Google. So you can be very, very specific about the kind of keywords that you want to show up under. So again, you're being very targeted towards the kind of people that you want to target. the reason analytics is so important with a mix with something like Google, just to give you a real life example, we have a client who's a local law firm, and we set up a Google account, and we targeted a whole range of keywords for them so that when people type it in, and two of the keywords was Sunshine Coast Law and Sunshine Coast Lawyer. Now at the time we thought they're both pretty much the same keywords, doesn't really matter, we'll throw them into the mix. After a month of data, we started to realise that Sunshine Coast Law was getting thousands of impressions and Sunshine Coast Lawyer was only getting a couple of hundred. And we thought, why is there such a disparity when the keywords are so similar? And what we actually found out, because we had the data through analytics, is that most people don't like spelling the word lawyer. They get the W and the Y mixed up, so they prefer to just say the word law. And so there's no way that we could have ever naturally come to that conclusion without having the data. And because we had that data, we could then change the campaign and put more money into the keyword that was actually converting. Okay. So number one is Google, absolutely.
Yeah.
Number two is, I think, social media. Now, social isn't for every business. You've always got to analyse whether, do you have something that's interesting enough that people want to follow? And once you've made that decision, I think that obviously you really need to take your social media seriously. A lot of people focus so heavily on getting likes on their Facebook page, which is a great thing. There's nothing wrong with getting likes, and I would always encourage people to get as many likes as they possibly can. However, it's also a mix of both likes and you'll notice on every Facebook page, and if you haven't, go and look at one now, which is who's talking about this. And the way that I would describe what that means is how many people are actually engaging with your brand. So as sort of a general rule, and sometimes there's bends to the rules, but as a general rule, I would say to people that your engagement should be at least 10% of your overall likes. So if you've got 10,000 likes, your people talking about this should be at a minimum of about 1,000 people. And that what that shows to me is that you've actually got a healthy engagement with your users, and you're having a conversation with them rather than trying to self-promote to them. I'm not saying that you shouldn't market to users, but again, probably that 90 to 10% rule of 90% about something that's engaging for the users and 10%, the odd promotion or the odd information about a service or a product that you offer.
Okay, Jed, so you've given me lots of information today, and I really like the concept, as I call it, what you can measure, you can manage, in terms of using Google Analytics to look at the results that you're generating from your marketing dollar, at least the online marketing dollar that you're spending.
Sure.
So, in summary, tell me how I can stand out online from my competitors.
Yeah, sure. I think in summary, it really comes down to three core things. Number one, you've actually got to come down to some of the basics and really look at your design of your website. People are attracted to things that look great, and really defining and having a great impressionable website, I think, is a really important element. Because you can have the best marketing in the world, but if someone then lands at your website and they don't feel comfortable that you can deliver on the thing that they're looking for, they potentially don't pick up the phone or buy that product or make the inquiry, whatever it is. So I think getting your design right is really important. From there, I think having a really great piece of software that allows you to then actually use that and manage your website ongoing. You shouldn't build a website and launch it and then leave it there and looking the same for 5 years. It's an online conversation, and you want to give people a reason to come back to your website. So if you've got what's called a CMS, or a content management system, which is sort of a commonly used word in the web development world, it allows you to log in, and with basic word processing skills, you can update pages, update photos, all that kind of thing.
And that's important for a lot of small businesses that don't necessarily have the resources to outsource that all the time.
Exactly, yeah, because dealing with a web development company ongoing for little changes like that could be quite expensive, and by having that software internally, your receptionist or general people within the office could just log in and make those changes whenever they need to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then the third thing is the most important thing, which we've been talking about mostly today, which is getting your marketing right. Your design and your software are only any good if people actually know that your website exists. So yeah, getting those listings into Google and having that online conversation with your customers and potential customers through some sort of social media engagement, I think is a really great starting steps to starting to see your business generate more inquiries through your website.
Fantastic. And I guess in conclusion, what we should say is at the very early stages, if you don't have that online presence, go and get some good advice. I mean, I tell that to my clients from an accounting point of view.
Sure.
If they're looking to buy a business, get some advice before you jump in. Same deal with this. Go and see somebody like yourself,
Sure.
Get that advice, work out where you need to be, and then have an integrated approach with your other marketing initiatives.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Thank you very much for your time today, Jim.
No worries. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.